So now that the summer is just about over, and I look back on this summer, I've realized there's been a lot of parties this summer. Retirement parties, graduation parties, wedding parties, parties after a funeral, going away parties, parties for a cause, birthday parties, all types of parties. Am I the only one here that's gone to a party this summer? Raise your hand if you've been to a party. Okay, so quite a few of you. At least those of you who rose your hand. As I thought about a lot of those parties, one of the things that I've noted is that oftentimes, whether you're throwing a party or going to a party, a lot of times there's an awkward moment. Maybe it's that moment when you get there and you're the very first person there and you don't know if you're early, or that moment when you're trying to figure out if you know those people from somewhere and you don't know if you want to go up and embarrass yourself or not. But there's those awkward moments. Or maybe if you're hosting people and you can't remember if you invited those people or not, but they're there. Doesn't matter what kind of party you go to, there's usually some sort of awkward moment. Also at parties, I've noticed that whether you're hosting the party or whether you're attending the party, there's usually some sort of stress involved with the party. Is there going to be enough potato salad? Did we lay out enough napkins for all the messy people? Are there enough Skittles at this party? When you go to that party, were we supposed to bring something? What were we supposed to wear to this party? Were we supposed to dress up, or is it casual? I can't remember. But there's usually some sort of stress with the party. So you have this awkwardness and this stress. But in the end, it doesn't matter what party you go to, you can always have the opportunity to celebrate God at a party and to celebrate each other. Whether it's a birthday party, retirement party, whatever kind of party, you have the opportunity to celebrate God and each other. In today's reading from Isaiah, Isaiah is telling the people to stop what they are doing and celebrate. Stop. The word he actually uses is Shabbat. Stop what you are doing and celebrate. Celebrate God and celebrate each other. Now that sounds like really good advice and sounds like something we should be doing. But when we look closer at the Isaian community, the people that Isaiah was talking to, that would have been a difficult command. Because on the one hand, you had people who had been removed from their land, from their homes, and they were coming back to their homes for the very first time. And their homes were a mess. They were in shambles. They had been gone for so long. Nothing was the same anymore. So they were in the process of rebuilding their homes, rebuilding their families, rebuilding their community, even rebuilding their culture. They're in this process of rebuilding, and Isaiah tells them to stop and celebrate. On the other hand, there were also people Isaiah was preaching to. They were very generous, or very wealthy people. They had a lot of possessions. Their homes were immaculate, beautiful homes, beautiful families. But they were a little afraid to share some of the resources that they had with each other and the people in the community, because they were afraid that if they did share, they might run out of resources. So there was this fear guiding them. And Isaiah says to them, stop what you are doing and celebrate. I don't know about you, but I can kind of relate with the wealthy people a little bit. In those awkward moments when people tell me to stop and celebrate, you probably don't know this about me because I'm usually in front of a lot of people, but I'm actually an introvert. And the whole idea of going to a party where there's a large group of people and people I probably don't know, it's not my favorite thing to do. So to go to a party and expend all this precious energy that I might have, it's a little awkward, to be honest. But still, the command comes to stop and celebrate. So I can sort of relate with the wealthy people. On the other hand, I can really relate with the people who are stressed out, the people who are coming home and they're trying to rebuild their home, their family, their community, their culture. I can relate with that too, because as I look at my checklist of things that I want to get done this week, I can get a little stressed out and think all the things that I need to do, and on top of that, God is telling me to stop what I'm doing and celebrate? I need a party like I need a hole in the head. I don't need one more thing to be doing. So I think about this story from Isaiah. I can really relate with both sets of people. Because of those awkward moments, because of those stressful moments. So then I think, what hope is there for me? Until I look at the cross and I remember Jesus' ministry, those awkward moments of ministry where he stopped to celebrate. He stopped to heal this woman who'd been chained for 18 years with an ailment. He stopped to heal her so that she might celebrate. And let's be honest, it was an awkward moment for him and for the people who were upset at him for celebrating. So I think about the stress that we encounter with our own health issues. And then I think about Jesus, that stress of coming down in human form to celebrate each and every one of us. And even the stress of experiencing death on a cross so that we might celebrate. As I think about the cross, and I think about those awkward moments at a party or those stressful moments at a party, it's a little freeing. In fact, it's a little energizing to know that our God has freed us so that we can celebrate. It's a little inspiring to know the next party I get to go to, I get to share that energy with the people I encounter. I get to share that energy even amidst the awkwardness and the stresses of a party. So what's this mean in the grand scheme of things? What's the point of this sermon? As I think about some of the current events happening around the United States, I'm reminded of what's known as the Cajun Navy. Amidst the floods that are happening in Louisiana, there's this group of ragtag fishermen with boats. And amidst all the floods, they go from house to house and they check and make sure everyone is okay and doing well. And I can only imagine as they go from house to house, they encounter some awkward moments. But as they go from house to house, they're in the process of stopping what they are doing to celebrate what God is doing and to celebrate the life that each of them has. As I think about the stress of the fires in California and the firefighters who are working so hard, but the homeowners who return to their home and they see their home in shambles and they know they have to rebuild their home. They've lost everything. They have to rebuild their community. They even have to rebuild parts of their culture. But in the midst of that, I'm always surprised at the interviews, because often they name the fact that they may have lost everything, but the important thing is they're still living and their family is still living. In that moment of stress, they are still able to stop and celebrate God and each other. As I think about the racial disparities that happened this week in Milwaukee, that continue to unfold, and we look at some of the riots that have taken place, one of the things that has surprised me is that as leaders of the Milwaukee community talk about these events, they're able to recognize that unlike most other cities, Milwaukee has been better about the riots. The places have been a little bit safer than some of the other cities. And when they ask, why is this? It's because of some of our partner churches, All People's Lutheran Church, Cross Lutheran Church, all the churches in the Milwaukee community have been working hard to remind people that even amidst the racial disparities that are happening in the city, the churches are reminding people to stop and celebrate God and each other. As we think about those parties that we might still be looking forward to, or even not looking forward to, amidst the awkwardness and the stresses, I pray that we may remember we have been freed by God. And more than any of that, we've all been invited to a great party. Are you coming? Amen.